Siblings Unscripted is back with another podcast, and this time we're going to be recapping Love is Blind Wedding Day Decisions. A great episode actually just dropped today, and we got a lot of information, we got a lot of predictions, and we got a lot of commentary on what we think about what happened, should have happened, how it happened, and we're just going to start off talking about that. So the very first couple was Sara and Ben, and just to give my reflection on it, I think it was kind of a few red flags that should have ended this way before the altar. And I think Sara kind of just overlooked it all. The politics, actually, from the pods, actually, like it started like from day one back in the pods. A red flag was up in the air, and she kind of like just totally overlooked it. We don't want to go into too much detail about some of this stuff, but we're gonna try to keep it at a service level and talk about it a little bit. But the red flags that I kind of saw was some of the ones that she kind of saw in the very end, and I kind of wish she would have addressed that fairly early. But Sara and Ben, give me your thoughts on that.
Sara and Ben, I think we're the same on that. Like in the pods when he said that he wasn't really into or didn't know much about Black Lives Matter, that was like a red flag. Like
Right.
the other thing was whenever he was talking about politics in general, he was like, "Oh, I'm not really into that." Another red flag. And then when they started talking about like religious stuff, and she pretty much expressed that she had a sister who was gay and stuff like that. And then like he said that, he has his beliefs and he go to church and blah 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 blah. And I don't know why he didn't think that she was going to do her due diligence and research, because in the regular episodes, she goes to church with him, right? So she goes to the service and then she asked him how his church reflected on those type of things. And he goes, "Oh, I don't really know." Of course. What does she do? She goes online to like a past sermon that the pastor had did or whatever. And they were very traditional, meaning they don't really like what she likes. So that was gonna be like they were never gonna make it.
Right.
And even with like the way the sister and the sister's girlfriend were, like they kind of wanted to tell her, like, "I don't think you should marry this guy." And like a part of me, when the whole him leaving his YouTube card, I thought that that was gonna be the reason why
Right.
they ended up not being together, because I do think he was lying about that. So I guess we'll have to wait till the reunion show to really hear about that. But yeah, there was a lot of red flags and a lot of they should have never even made it to the altar.
Right. And I definitely agree with you. And I really thought like a couple episodes back when they mentioned that other girl that was on TikTok claiming that he was such a bad dude. At the end, I thought that that was going to be the reason why she said no at the altar. But she ignored like, at least three red flags in the pods. And I'm surprised he even got out of the pods with those red flags. But obviously for her, there really wasn't deal breakers in the very beginning because she thought maybe she can just overlook them, or maybe he'll like change his mind, or maybe he'll at least be more honest about why he was the way he was. I mean, it's okay to have differences in religion and politics and like and stuff like that, but you got to be able to communicate that with your partner, right? You got to be able to like give her the option to choose whether or not she wants to like overlook that or just be like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought and stuff like that. And that's gonna be a theme of this particular episode, to where people are not communicating properly to get over certain barriers in a relationship or they talking phase or dating phase. But I definitely agree that Ben was a red flag back in the pods. So he shouldn't even never made it to the altar, but she gave him a chance and he just totally messed it up by not communicating or just not really putting all his true feelings out there. Because if you really truly believe that some of this stuff did not really matter to you, then you would have no reason, and you'd be able to stand up 100% on why you don't believe Black Lives Matter or something like that, or your religion and stuff like that. You'd be able to stand 10 toes down on why you shouldn't be able to do that. Not just be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, I don't want to continue to explain why I'm this way. Like, that's not going to work. That's not
Right,
going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it.
right,
So
right.
they did
So the
leave us. Yeah, they on the previous episode they did leave us on that trailer. So it looks like Ben was just totally in shock that she said no. Right?
I don't know why he was in shock though. Like he should have saw it coming.
Yeah,
He should have saw it coming.
definitely.
So yeah. I think the next couple is Joey and Monica.
Right.
Um, I think I was surprised with that one, just because they both seem to have their issues and they both seem to communicate. But the one thing that for me kind of let me know that maybe they weren't going to get married was whenever she was getting dressed and she was talking about how, you know, he wasn't very affectionate and he's,
Mhm.
the intimacy part of it, and like did they kiss and she didn't really know how he felt. Like that's not enough, married at first sight or not, to get married. So like I agree with her for that decision. But I do think that I think that if she had said yes, I think he would have said yes. But
Yeah,
she went first,
of course.
you know?
He was definitely going to say yes, and it was kind of a shock to me that they didn't actually get married because I thought she was going to say yes as well. For him though, it just seemed like he wasn't able to get over like the family comments about him and how his sister kind of felt about him. He couldn't really get over that. But at the end of the day, I really thought, and I truly believe he was going to say yes. So it kind of threw me for a loop that Monica actually said no to that. But I think she kind of had a lot of peer pressure in her ears to say no as well. So
Yeah.
it was kind of
And
shocking.
even Yeah, even at the end of the two of them, and like, how they recap how they're feeling at the end.
Right.
She basically was saying, like, not right now. I want to get to know you better. And we could still like hang out and be like boyfriend and girlfriend. Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, no, I got to think about this. I don't really see, us going past this. And like, I could kind of feel like that's embarrassing. So I know,
Right.
like, I would say that too. So it's going to be interesting to see on the reunion show, like if they end up actually dating after this,
Right.
or if they're just like if he's just straight up done.
And
Because I think that she thought that he was gonna be okay with dating afterwards. I don't think that she realized that he's not okay with that.
right. And to me, I thought they was kind of like a perfect couple a little bit until they met up with their families, and then the families got
Right.
involved and kept giving their opinions because they both seemed crazy. They was the first couple to actually get engaged. So
Hmm.
to me, that seemed like a match made in heaven. And then once you started to see the dynamics of them two, you kind of saw that hey, they kind of belong together. They both crazy. I thought when he went over to the family house and started playing the different instruments, and it seemed like he
They
was
both
really into
corny,
that. Yeah, it seemed
crazy.
like he kind of fit in, and then the sister opened her mouth, and then there was big trouble after that. So you just never really know.
Yeah, you
But
never really know.
I definitely don't see
No.
how she thought they was gonna be able to be friends after she kind of like embarrassed him on a national stage like that. Certain another situation where this probably didn't really need to be at the altar at all. They could have probably talked this out beforehand and not even went that
Right.
step. So
Hmm.
I kind of feel
Right.
bad for him a little bit because yeah, I don't think he really was expecting that. So
Right. Right.
that was crazy.
So the couple that we weren't expecting to go down the way it did.
Oh, I totally was expecting it. I was right. I was right from the
Okay,
beginning.
you're right. Okay, so you want to say you're right. I think it was the way it went down. So Virginia and Devin. In my opinion, once he signed that prenup, I'm like, oh, it's a done deal. He done signed the prenup. They kind of gotta get married at this point.
Mhm.
Like, what the what? And then like even her getting dressed, you could kind of see on her face as she's getting dressed that something was wrong. And she was smiling and she wasn't really saying much.
Mhm.
And when like his mother and sister went to, see her and with the little girl, it was just like she almost just was feeling very bad because she knew all along that she was gonna say no. And I don't know if it's like with production with the show where they tell them that, hey, you've been doing good up until this point. You still got to do like the wedding piece of it. I don't know if that's what it is, but like she knew. She knew.
Mhm.
I think she did have like certain instances where she was like, okay, I could probably work through it. But then when she said no, like he was a for sure, like sh-
He was
she was it
devastated.
for him. He was devastated. And she just kept saying, I do love you, but like I was just shocked. And like for me, and I think I told you this, the part that made me upset about when she said no was how the sister reacted. Like, take your dusty self somewhere else. You don't know what happened behind closed doors.
Hmm.
Quit with all your little anger mongering or whatever she was doing over there crying. Like, what you crying for? Go console your brother.
I'm just gonna say that I was right from the beginning. Virginia just was not into Devin at all in the very beginning, right? When she came out and Devin gave her all those compliments, oh, you beautiful, you look this, you look that. And the only thing that she can say was that, hey, your eyes are a little beautiful. If I was Devin, I would say eyes that you haven't even looked in. So what are you talking about? Like she really was not into Devin at all from the very beginning. So even seeing the way that it ended, it kind of like went off in my head. It's like, hey, you was right, and she just wasn't into him at all. Like the entire time,
I
even
don't
when
know,
she,
'cause I think she liked
no,
him
she did
though.
not. Even when she tried to
Mhm.
kiss him, she forced herself to kiss that man. Right?
I think she liked him. I think she liked him, and I think there's several things that are like red flags. Like at the end of the day, it's no way you're gonna talk about politics and almost like I poly shame her. So like when they were laying in the bed and they were talking about it, and he asked her, "Do you vote with your faith?" Like, what does that really mean? You know what I mean? Like, do you vote like you're super conservative? So like I'm not gonna say the word that we was using earlier, but like you super conservative. So like we know who you vote for if you say something like that and you from Minnesota and all this other
Mm,
blah 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 blah. But like you can't like not talk about that type of thing and brush it off and be like, "Oh, well, I'm just super my family is super conservative." Okay, so that's what your family is, but what are you? What do
right.
you believe in?
Right.
Like that was crazy to me. And then I think I had to rewind. She kind of felt like he was dishonest financially because apparently someone had given them a financial gift for the wedding. And it must have happened where he got it like before wedding day, and he never said anything to her about it. Like, why would you do that? And like you just weren't gonna say that you got this money like
But it was a
from
gift,
somebody.
right? It should have been a wedding gift. They didn't pay for the
It was
weddings.
a wedding gift
Netflix.
for them, and
Yeah.
he didn't say anything about it. So like, what did he do with that money?
That's another
That's a red
example of
flag.
her just looking for an out because that would just, I mean, I don't think that's really too concerning. It's a wedding gift. I mean, that's something that you probably address after
It's
you get
concerning if
married.
you don't mention it.
I mean, but that wasn't really the deal breaker. The deal breaker for her was definitely his politics and how they laid in the bed, and he didn't really. Another example of non-communication. Like they sat in the bed, and she had to like force feed him topics, and he refused to go in and give his answers correctly, or at least be able to stand 10 toes down on, hey, yeah, I'm conservative, and this is why, and yada yada yada. And it wasn't a deal breaker for her. It's just she wasn't
And they
into
did,
him. I'm telling
but
you.
and I don't know if it wasn't a she wasn't into him, but he must not have like tried to like get intimate with her either because
Right.
she also made the comment like, they weren't even there from an intimate level. Like, I guess
Right.
bro ain't, he ain't do whatever. So it's just like, I mean, you doing the married at first sight, and I understand that everything is quick, but some people they don't want to buy they don't want to, buy in without, giving it a little test drive at first. And it
I
seemed
mean,
like
I
she
don't.
ain't want.
Well, because how can he even approach that if she don't even look at him in the eye? And obviously, let me just tell you something, right? There's different forms of intimacy, right? And to me, he wasn't even doing the smallest form of that. Like, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was thinking, but she wasn't really into him. And if he wasn't approaching it that way, it's probably because he felt that she wasn't into him at all. Like, he barely can touch her. She wouldn't even look at him. She wouldn't even look at him. So I can't really blame him, but I blame him because she was fine. I mean, I don't know if I could have probably kept my hands off of her, but hey, it's the most simplest things that you can do to let a girl know that, hey, what's up, or just like do different forms of it. It ain't got to be all sexual and stuff like that because there's different forms of that. And to me,
I don't disagree with you.
yeah, a
Like
lot of
as a
guys wasn't
woman,
doing that.
like
Yeah,
yeah, as a woman, like if you're not doing certain things, and I don't feel like you want to feel wanted. And the way to feel wanted is if a guy does flirt with you, if a guy
right.
does try to make those moves, type of thing. So,
Yeah,
hey, like
she might have
that was like
been.
I said, that was the shocker because going into this, once he signed that prenup,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, she good.
yeah. I thought the
But
prenup
then
definitely
like,
sealed it.
yeah, I thought the prenup sealed it. Like, because if he wouldn't have signed the prenup, I would have been like, it's no way she's gonna marry him.
Right.
No way.
Again.
No way. Because it looked like, she was, better off financially than him. And
Right.
she just needed to make sure that if it didn't work, that she was good, you
Right.
know?
And you know what he probably could have also did when she talking about she wasn't really into him like that? Had he had a better conversation game in that bedroom that night and answer all her questions, I think that probably could have led to something. That's a different form of intimacy, right? It don't always have to be sexual. It could be the little things, like you having the right answer to her questions, or you just being engaged and stuff like that during the conversation. The small stuff. It's the teeny tiny small stuff that can get you to hit a home run, right? It can get you to third base. It can get you to home plate if you just listen and like answer her questions. Like, how do you
Right.
vote? I vote like this and blah 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 blah. Like home run, bro.
Yeah, because I think they had even had the conversation where she was saying how the reason why he asked her if she voted with faith is because at the end of the day, I think she told him that she feel like a woman's body is a woman's body and it's a woman's choice. And
Right,
he was saying how, oh, yeah, it's a woman's body, but you don't think that, the guy should have some say so.
right,
And like, I'm with her with that. Like, so you mean to tell me that you get to choose what I'm gonna do with myself and my body? Like, what if something happens and it could be a life or death situation? Like, you want me to consult with you? That's
right.
crazy to me.
And like I said, that could have been that probably likely was the very beginning of her not being able to connect with him in that way. Because I mean, I'm not a female. I mean, but having that conversation and probably hearing that was kind of probably very, very cringe for a female to hear, right? Like,
Yeah,
but hey, that probably was. I'm 100% sure that was the end of the relationship at that point because she wasn't really into
yeah,
him. And if he could have got in good graces with her, that was at the moment that he could have did that, and he failed the test. So I'm not
yeah. He
surprised that she
big
said
time
no.
fail.
I'm surprised that she forced that prenup onto him, but I'm not surprised at the end result. And at the end, I got to give her kudos because she said that she was the type of person that always give in relationships, always putting the other person first and compromising her as a person and stuff like that. And this was like one instance of where she chose herself, where she chose to like make herself happy, no matter who it hurt or who didn't like the decision. Like she was okay with standing 10 toes down on her decision and picking herself.
Yeah,
Kind of like going back to Empire when Cookie said, "Lucius, I got to put myself first." That kind of was a Virginia moment, and I like that. I felt that moment because you got to put yourself first sometimes, especially when you're a giver
100%.
and you just sometimes you just ain't got no more to give, and you got to pick
Right.
yourself. So
No, she
kudos to
definitely
Virginia on
had
that. Yeah,
she had nothing left to give, and she
yeah,
was 10 toes down on that.
I can respect her
All
on
right.
that.
So we're gonna go to your favorite couple, Mr. Shorty Doo Wop Daniel.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Shorty
Short
King in
people
the building.
rule.
Shorty King in the
Shorty
building.
King in the building. And, they started off kind of rocky once she had said yes because she thought that he followed her, and she pretty much made a fool of herself because she scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and turns out he didn't follow her. I think that their families are gonna do well. They both said yes. They both had the letters to each other. Super cute. Kind of boring wedding. There was no chance that neither one of them was gonna say no. They're gonna have their little happy ever after. I don't even know what to say. Shorty, good job, Shorty King.
Shorty King gonna tear that thing up tonight. That's what he gonna do. I don't know what she gonna look like the next morning because I never saw her without makeup. But I do wish him their very best. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
You
saying?
better enjoy it while you can because you never know what you're gonna wake up to the very next morning. So
Look, man, I think that they're gonna make a very cute couple. Hopefully, they can last. Both of their families seem like it was super special to her because her father was sick. Her father gets to see her get married. Her mom seems to get over the fact that she didn't know him ahead of time. So,
right,
and his family, they're so open. His family, like I can really appreciate his family. Like that's what it should be. Super supportive. So, like best of luck to them. Can't wait to see how everything turns out. But I'm gonna say, like, just to, do a whole roundabout, I can't wait to see the reunion show.
right.
Did you see the preview?
I did see the previews. I'm not really again if Virginia is going to like stand on what she did before. I'm not quite sure how her seeing the X note on his nightstand really played in a part into that. Again, from jump, I said Virginia was not into Devin, so who cares about what
It can play
happened
a
after
part.
that?
I know it could play a part. It
Maybe,
could.
maybe. I mean, but the research department have already researched that Devin did not have a girlfriend beforehand. So maybe he just did a piss poor job of cleaning up all the evidence of someone prior. You never know what's laying around your apartment when you've been out there in the dating world for a long time. But
Right. So
the
we'll
previews
see.
will
And
look
then
good. I can't wait. They come on Sunday night,
yeah,
so we're gonna have to be watching it on Sunday night.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sunday night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anything else that
So
you saw from the previews that you can't wait that you're looking
um
forward to?
I'm just very interested to hear what good old Dave got to say about his sister and whether he going to say Lauren is the one that got away.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Madison's still on there being a mean girl. Apparently she got receipts. So I
Mm.
can't wait to see her receipts.
You know who I want to see on a reunion, and I'd be highly disappointed she's not there? Dave's sister. She better be in the
Oh.
audience. If not, that dude's been catfishing this whole time. Because if I'm talking about you and all these episodes and my sister, my sister, my sister, you got to pop out on a reunion show so everybody can see who you is, and they'll probably put a mic in front of your face and be like, "Hey, give us what you thought." Like, ain't no way she not there. No,
She not. I don't think she's
bro,
there, but
that's
we'll
that's
see.
insane. He's catfishing it. He's a liar. They if his sister ain't popping out
Dave
in the
is a
audience
monster.
or on a video or some Zoom, he catfishing. He lying. He is
Right,
lying the whole
right.
time. He ain't got no sister, man. That's exactly
So
what it
yeah, that's
is.
what I can't wait to see.
Who else on the reunion that had some good parts?
Brittany straight called him childish, but I don't know if they're gonna bring her on the
Brittany
reunion.
called Devin childish.
Yeah.
I mean, because she did put herself out there, and he kind of just kind of like brushed it off. But
His reaction was childish though.
yeah, I mean, because he didn't even really say that he wasn't into that type of stuff. He just kind of like kept quiet, right? I mean, at the time, you being vulnerable with somebody, right? So you expect for them to show some sort of sympathy, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
When he said he popped those ibuprofens, she was very sympathetic with that.
ChatGPT say you can't be addicted to ibuprofen. I'm just saying. Matter of fact, we verified it with a doctor. You cannot be addicted to ibuprofen. So whatever he was
Chat
taking, it
GPT
wasn't
said you
ibuprofen.
can't. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
allegedly whatever he was taking, but
allegedly, whatever he was taking,
she
but it
was
wasn't no ibuprofen. Just
right.
saying.
She was very sympathetic when he said that, but when she got vulnerable with him, he kind of just got ghost and got real silent. You cannot do that. Like
Right.
you can't do that. Like imagine me being vulnerable with you and you just leave me hanging. Like that's
Fact.
very hurtful. That's hurtful.
So
So I can't wait to see them. Uh Anybody else from the
no,
reunion? I
I
don't think
mean
so, right?
clearly they're gonna have Mason and Meg on there, but
Mason and Meg,
um,
yeah. And Alex, I think, is going to be on there too, right?
mhm,
Alex. So, yeah.
yeah. So
That's going to be crazy, but that's the recap of Love is Blind wedding decision day. It went kind of wacky. Some of the couples that we thought was going to stay married end up not getting married. I was right about Virginia and Devin from the jump. I was right about Ben and his red flags from the pods. I can say I can pretty much like pick out a red flag very, very easily. I don't know why either women or men choose to overlook it, but in conversations and shows like this, red flag, red flag, red flag, and it's not going nowhere. From episode 1 to episode 8, the red flag ain't going nowhere. You can choose to overlook it or choose to modify it and choose to like, okay, let's work through it. But on these shows lately, right? In the pods has been a red flag, and then wedding day, that red flag is still there. I thought I can get over it. You knew you couldn't get over it midway through. Like
right.
you knew that.
So
So all right, Siblings Unscripted back for another episode. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you drop a comment based on what you thought the episode was, and let us know how you felt about it. And turn on your notifications, and we will catch you on the next episode. Thank you.